Engines began to sputter. The empire was spending more than it earned. Roads, fortresses, walls, soldiers, bribes, bureaucracy. It all cost money. And with fewer wars, there were fewer spoils of war. By the 3rd century CE, Rome was running out of silver. So, emperors did what failing regimes always do. They debased the currency. Coins that were once 95% silver were now less than 2%. Cheap metal wrapped in a lie. The result? Hyperinflation. Prices skyrocketed. A loaf of bread cost 100 times more than it did a decade earlier. The poor starved, the rich hoarded, and trade across provinces slowed to a crawl. Merchants refused Roman coins altogether. Barter returned. A Roman citizen in Gaul might trade grain for cloth because the money had become worthless. And taxes? Brutal. To maintain the army and pay corrupt officials, Rome taxed its citizens into ruin. Entire towns emptied out to avoid the collectors. Farmers abandoned their land. Cities depopulated. Desperate emperors tried everything. Diocletian issued an edict freezing wages and setting fixed prices. The punishment for disobedience: death. But inflation doesn't care about laws. The economy collapsed anyway. And all of this happened before the invasions began. An empire is more than armies, it's a system. And Rome's system had failed. With no economic base, the state turned to the only remaining source of power: force. Which leads us to mistake number 3. Rome didn't just lose territory, it lost its soul. At the heart of Rome's collapse was a disease of ambition. Not ambition to serve, but ambition to rule, at any cost. The Republic had once been a system of checks and balances. Senators debated, generals led, and the people voted. But that ended with Julius Caesar, and what followed was centuries of instability. After Augustus created the empire, the illusion of order remained. But behind the marble walls, chaos brewed. By the 3rd century AD, the Roman Empire entered a period known as the Crisis of the 3rd Century, a nearly 50-year stretch of near-constant civil war. How bad was it? 26 emperors in 50 years? Only one died of natural causes. Most were murdered by rivals, bodyguards, or their own troops. The throne was no longer won through merit,